Chosen one, you are a narcissist's worst nightmare, and it's time you owned that power completely. Right now, somewhere in this world, a toxic person is having a complete meltdown because of something you said or did. They're pacing, unable to sleep, desperately trying to figure out how you saw through their carefully constructed mask so effortlessly. From the moment you entered this lifetime, you've been carrying a frequency that operates like spiritual kryptonite to low vibrational beings, and every energy vampire who gets close to you discovers that their worst nightmare isn't coming, it's already here, and it's you. Think about the pattern that's been following you since childhood. Notice how certain people become absolutely obsessed with either winning your approval or destroying your peace. They can't seem to just let you exist. There's always drama, always chaos, always some crisis that somehow requires your energy, your attention, your resources. But here's what they don't tell you in those moments when you're questioning your own sanity, wondering why you attract such dysfunction. You're not attracting it because you're broken. You're attracting it because you're powerful, and your very existence threatens everything they've built their false identity upon. The most dangerous thing about you from a narcissist's perspective isn't your ability to call them out, though that terrifies them. It's not even your refusal to provide the constant validation they crave, though that drives them to desperate measures. The most dangerous thing about you is your intelligence. You see patterns where others see isolated incidents. You remember contradictions that others conveniently forget. You possess an almost supernatural ability to gather facts, connect dots, and present evidence in ways that make their gaslighting attempts look absolutely pathetic. This intelligence operates on multiple levels simultaneously. While your logical mind is cataloging inconsistencies in their stories, your intuitive awareness is downloading information about their true motivations. Your emotional intelligence recognizes the calculated nature of their reactions, and your spiritual perception sees through the masks they wear. This multidimensional awareness creates a complete picture that no amount of manipulation can distort. Remember that moment when you finally spoke the truth about someone's behavior, and suddenly their entire social circle began questioning everything they thought they knew about that person. That wasn't luck, that was your gift in action. Your words carry weight because they're backed by observation, intuition, and an unwavering commitment to truth that operates beyond ordinary human perception. When you speak, reality itself seems to rearrange around your statements, forcing hidden things into the light. But this gift comes with a price, and you've been paying it your entire life. The energy vampires don't just want to feed off you, they want to completely drain you, break you down until you're too exhausted to use your voice. They know instinctively that silence is their only salvation. As long as you're speaking the truth, their carefully constructed lies remain in constant danger of exposure. So they deploy every manipulation tactic in their arsenal: love bombing to make you emotionally dependent, then sudden withdrawal to keep you confused. They isolate you from support systems, make you question your own perceptions, and create chaos specifically designed to overwhelm your nervous system. Perhaps you recognize yourself in the corporate scenario instead. You've been dealing with that colleague who steals ideas and sabotages projects. You spent months documenting every interaction, every stolen concept, every manipulative email, because something inside you knew this documentation would be crucial. When they tried to blame you for a failed project that they had actually sabotaged, you presented a timeline so detailed and comprehensive that it exposed not just this incident, but years of unethical behavior. You watched them get terminated while you received that substantial promotion, but more importantly, you learned to trust your perception and documentation skills. You realized you possessed an almost photographic memory for toxic behavior patterns, and this gift would serve you for the rest of your life. What they don't understand is that every attack they launch against you only serves to strengthen your spiritual armor. Each betrayal teaches you to trust your intuition more deeply. Every attempt to gaslight you sharpens your ability to distinguish truth from deception. They think they're breaking you down, but they're actually participating in your spiritual evolution, transforming you into something they could never comprehend, a being who operates beyond their reach, immune to their tactics, and capable of exposing their darkness with surgical precision. The reason you feel so exhausted after spending time with certain people isn't because you're weak or overly sensitive. It's because you're literally transmuting their negative energy in real time. Your system naturally converts their toxicity into something higher, but this process requires enormous spiritual resources. You're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting everyone around them by neutralizing their capacity to cause harm. This is why they become so desperate to maintain contact with you, even after you've clearly seen through their facade. They're addicted to the energy you provide, but more than that, they're terrified of facing themselves without the buffer your presence provides. Think about how many toxic people in your past have experienced dramatic life collapses after you removed your energy from their orbit. Relationships imploding, careers disintegrating, legal troubles materializing out of nowhere. This isn't coincidence, this is karma operating through divine timing. As long as you remained connected to them, your light was actually protecting them from the consequences of their actions. The moment you stepped away, reality caught up with them in ways that seemed almost supernaturally swift and thorough. Or maybe your story involves that relationship you finally ended after years of constant criticism about your appearance, your intelligence, your career choices. You remember the fear you felt walking away, wondering if you were making the right decision, but then you watched their life begin unraveling in ways that seemed almost supernatural. The business they'd been building with your emotional and financial support collapsed. Their new relationship ended when their partner discovered they'd been cheating. Legal troubles emerged from past financial misconduct. Family members who had witnessed their treatment of you began distancing themselves. And while they lost everything that mattered, you launched your own successful venture and found a partner who celebrated your brilliance. Your departure didn't just free you, it removed the protective buffer that had been shielding them from cosmic consequences. Your angels have been orchestrating these cosmic justice events far longer than you realize. Every person who wronged you thinking they would face no consequences has been carefully monitored by spiritual forces that operate beyond ordinary perception. Some of them have already experienced the backlash, lost jobs, broken relationships, social exile, legal troubles that seem to appear from nowhere. Others are still accumulating karmic debt, but their day of reckoning approaches with mathematical certainty. This is why you must embrace the truth about who you are without apology or hesitation. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are not here to enable dysfunction or pretend that toxic behavior is acceptable. You are here to serve as a catalyst for truth, a disruptor of systems built on deception, a voice that speaks reality into spaces where lies have been allowed to flourish unchallenged. Your gift for seeing through people's masks operates like spiritual X-ray vision. When someone approaches you with hidden agendas, your intuition immediately begins downloading information about their true motivations. You might not always trust these insights initially, especially if the person seems charming or presents compelling sob stories, but time always proves your first instincts correct. This ability to perceive beyond surface presentations makes you invaluable as a detector of authenticity and absolutely lethal to anyone operating with deceptive intent. The love bombing phase that narcissists use to hook their targets becomes completely ineffective against you because your system instinctively recognizes an manufactured affection. Something feels off about the intensity, the timing, the way their attention seems designed to create dependency rather than genuine connection. Normal people might get swept away by the romantic gestures and constant validation, but your spiritual circuitry remains alert, cataloging inconsistencies and red flags that others miss entirely. When they inevitably switch from love bombing to devaluation, thinking they've successfully hooked you, they encounter something they never expected: complete emotional detachment. Instead of chasing their approval or trying to recreate the initial high, you simply observe their behavior with the cool, analytical precision of a scientist studying a particularly predictable specimen. This response drives them absolutely insane because their entire strategy depends on your emotional reactivity. What happens next reveals the true depths of your power as a chosen one. Rather than escalating their tactics or moving on to easier targets, they become obsessed with regaining control over you. They cannot comprehend how you remain unmoved by strategies that have worked on countless others. This obsession becomes their downfall because it forces them to reveal their true nature in increasingly desperate attempts to provoke the emotional response they require. Your refusal to provide narcissistic supply creates a psychological crisis for them that extends far beyond simple rejection. They begin to question everything about their manipulative abilities, their charm, their capacity to control others. If they can't manipulate you, what does that say about their fundamental understanding of human psychology? This crisis of confidence begins affecting all their other relationships as they struggle to maintain the facade that came so naturally before encountering your energy. Meanwhile, your ability to remain centered in the midst of their chaos demonstrates something profound about your spiritual development. Most people get pulled into the drama trying to defend themselves or prove their worth to someone who has no intention of recognizing it. But you understand intuitively that engaging with their provocations only feeds their dysfunction. Instead, you maintain your boundaries with calm certainty, speaking truth when necessary, and withdrawing your energy when engagement becomes counterproductive. This response pattern, truth-telling followed by strategic withdrawal, creates a unique form of psychological warfare that narcissists cannot counter effectively. They're accustomed to either total submission or explosive reactivity from their targets. Your combination of clarity and detachment short-circuits their programming in ways that force them to confront the emptiness at their core. The people around them begin noticing changes in their behavior that correlate directly with their interaction with you. Friends and family members start asking questions about their sudden mood swings, their obsessive focus on discrediting you, their inability to let go and move on. These observers might not understand exactly what's happening, but they recognize instinctively that this person's reaction to you reveals something significant about their character. This is when the cosmic justice phase begins accelerating. The universe rarely punishes toxic behavior immediately because most people need time to learn and grow from their mistakes. But when someone targets a chosen one with deliberate malice, refusing multiple opportunities for course correction, spiritual law shifts into active intervention mode. Suddenly, consequences that might normally take years to manifest begin appearing with startling speed and precision. Their social circle starts recognizing patterns they previously ignored or rationalized away. The way this person talks about you, with an intensity that seems disproportionate to whatever conflict occurred, raises red flags about their judgment and emotional stability. People begin remembering other instances of similar behavior, connecting dots they never bothered to connect before. The narrative they've carefully constructed about being the victim in your interaction begins crumbling under scrutiny. Professional consequences often follow social ones. Their inability to let go of their obsession with you starts affecting their work performance, their professional relationships, their ability to focus on tasks that don't involve strategizing about how to regain control over you. Colleagues notice the shift in their energy, their preoccupation with personal drama, their decreased effectiveness in collaborative settings. Legal troubles frequently manifest for those who escalate their harassment or attempt to damage your reputation through false accusations. The universe has a particular intolerance for attempts to weaponize systems of justice against chosen ones who are operating in alignment with truth. Evidence emerges that contradicts their claims, witnesses come forward with information that exposes their deception, and their credibility evaporates under legal scrutiny. The most profound aspect of this cosmic justice process is how it often extends beyond their interaction with you to encompass their treatment of others. Your situation becomes the catalyst that brings all their toxic behavior into divine reckoning. People they've wronged in the past suddenly find their voices, inspired by your example of refusing to accept unacceptable treatment. A cascade effect begins where multiple victims step forward, creating a pattern of behavior that becomes impossible to deny or dismiss. But this cosmic justice isn't your responsibility to orchestrate or even witness. Your role is simply to continue being who you are, truthful, boundaried, and aligned with your highest values. The universe handles the consequences while you focus on your own evolution and purpose. This understanding liberates you from the need to see immediate karma or wait for vindication. Justice operates on divine timing, not human schedules. As you fully embrace your identity as a chosen one, your entire relationship with toxic people transforms. Instead of feeling drained by their attacks, you begin recognizing them as confirmation of your power. Instead of questioning your worth when they attempt to devalue you, you understand that their desperate need to diminish you actually proves your significance. Instead of feeling isolated by their smear campaigns, you appreciate how they're helping you identify who belongs in your energy field and who doesn't. This shift in perspective awakens abilities you never knew you possessed. Your intuition becomes so refined that you can detect manipulative intent within moments of meeting someone new. Your energy signature operates like a truth serum, compelling people to reveal their authentic selves, whether they intend to or not. Your presence alone becomes a catalyst for positive change in those who are ready to grow, and a source of intense discomfort for those committed to remaining in dysfunction. The people who are meant to be in your life recognize your value immediately and treat you with genuine respect and appreciation. They don't need to be convinced of your worth or educated about appropriate boundaries. They naturally create reciprocal relationships based on mutual support, honest communication, and shared values. These connections feel effortless because they're aligned with your true frequency rather than forcing you to dim your light for their comfort. Your professional life begins reflecting this energetic shift as opportunities arise that honor your intelligence, your integrity, and your unique perspective. The skills you develop navigating toxic relationships, pattern recognition, strategic thinking, clear communication under pressure, translate into remarkable success in environments that value truth and authenticity. You find yourself naturally gravitating toward roles where your ability to see through deception and speak reality becomes a valuable asset. Financial abundance starts flowing more freely as you stop investing your resources in people and situations that don't reciprocate your energy. The money you used to spend trying to help or appease toxic individuals becomes available for investments in your own growth and goals. The time you used to waste managing their drama becomes space for creative projects and meaningful pursuits. The emotional energy you used to expend on their chaos becomes fuel for your own transformation. Your physical health improves dramatically as the constant stress of dealing with energy vampires diminishes. Your nervous system stops operating in survival mode and begins functioning from a place of calm centeredness. Sleep becomes restorative rather than escape. Your appetite returns to natural patterns. Your immune system strengthens as it's no longer constantly fighting the effects of toxic stress. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing entirely to put yourself to the test. When I confronted the archons beyond our reality, they made one thing clear: true chosen ones are rare. They laughed at the thought of us finding each other. Yet here you are, watching this message. The Obsidian Inner Order isn't for everyone claiming to be awakened. We're the real ones, those who've seen beyond the veil, felt the call, and carry the unmistakable frequency. But are you truly one of us? I have given you everything I've got, and I'm digging deeper to bring you even more. Don't just consume content from the sidelines. Real chosen ones take action. Share your story on our weekly group call. Get a revealing tarot reading from our resident card reader. Discover if your experiences align with the authentic signs. The Archons fear nothing more than chosen ones, recognizing each other. When we connect, our frequencies amplify and create a force they cannot stop. That's why we're going to be live streaming to the entire Astral Atom network. To find every last one of us, click the link in the description below now. It's time to stop wondering and confirm what you already suspect. Are you merely interested in awakening, or are you truly chosen? Prove it. Join us. The verification you seek awaits with the Obsidian Inner Order. But perhaps the most significant transformation occurs in your spiritual connection. The relationship with your higher self, your guides, your angels, and divine source that might have felt muted or distant during periods of intense toxicity begins operating with crystal clarity. You start receiving guidance with remarkable precision, experiencing synchronicities that feel like direct communication from the universe, and accessing wisdom that seems to flow from sources beyond ordinary knowledge. The heightened spiritual awareness you're experiencing manifests in ways that continue to surprise you. Your dreams have become prophetic, offering glimpses of future events or solutions to current problems. You find yourself having random encounters with strangers who deliver exactly the message you need to hear. Books fall open to relevant passages, songs play with lyrics that speak directly to your situation, and numbers appear in patterns that feel like coded communications from the divine. Your angels are no longer subtle in their guidance, they're practically shouting their support through every available channel, and you're finally awake enough to hear them. Your empathic abilities have expanded beyond reading individual people to sensing the energetic atmosphere of entire spaces. You can feel when someone has been speaking negatively about you, even from a distance. Your body has become a finely tuned instrument that alerts you to deception, manipulation, and hidden agendas through physical sensations that are impossible to ignore. You've learned to trust these signals completely because they've never steered you wrong. The toxic people who once drained you have begun avoiding you altogether, unable to tolerate the intensity of your elevated vibration. Their attempts to engage you in drama feel increasingly pathetic and transparent. You find yourself responding to their provocations with such calm detachment that they eventually give up trying to trigger you. This shift didn't happen gradually. It was sudden and dramatic, as if a switch had been flipped in your energetic field. You remember the exact moment when you felt your power fully activate and everything changed. This enhanced spiritual connection reveals the broader purpose behind everything you've experienced. Every toxic person who entered your life was actually a teacher, though not in the way they intended. They taught you to trust your intuition by repeatedly proving it correct. They taught you to value your energy by showing you what happens when you give it to the wrong people. They taught you to speak your truth by demonstrating the consequences of staying silent. They taught you to embrace your power by showing you what powerlessness looks like. Your journey through the darkness wasn't punishment or bad luck, it was preparation. Every manipulation tactic you learn to recognize protects not just you, but everyone who benefits from your insight. Every boundary you learn to enforce models healthy self-respect for those who are still learning. Every time you chose truth over comfort, you contributed to collective healing by refusing to enable dysfunction. The preparation phase you've endured has equipped you with skills that most people never develop. Your ability to remain calm under extreme pressure makes you invaluable in crisis situations. Your talent for detecting deception makes you an excellent judge of character for others seeking guidance. Your experience with gaslighting has taught you to trust your perception even when everyone else questions it. Your practice with boundary enforcement has made you a master at protecting your energy while still maintaining compassion for others. These aren't just personal victories, they're superpowers that serve everyone around you. These skills translate into practical advantages that extend far beyond personal relationships. In professional settings, you become known as someone who can't be manipulated or deceived. Colleagues seek your opinion on personnel decisions because they trust your ability to see through facades. Supervisors value your honest feedback because they know you'll tell them what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear. Your reputation for integrity opens doors that remain closed to those who compromise their principles for temporary advantages. And now look where you are. Maybe you're leading workshops on workplace toxicity, helping other employees recognize and document abusive behavior. Perhaps you've started a support group for people recovering from narcissistic relationships, using your experience to guide others through the healing process. You might have become a whistleblower in your industry, exposing corruption that led to major regulatory changes. Or you've built a business that specializes in helping people leave abusive relationships and rebuild their lives. Whatever path you've taken, you discovered your true purpose through your encounter with darkness, and now you're using that wisdom to light the way for others. The chosen ones who resonate with your story are also awakening to their own power, inspired by your example to stop accepting unacceptable treatment and start embracing their role as catalysts for positive change. Together, you're part of a spiritual revolution that's exposing deception, dismantling toxic systems, and creating space for authentic connection and genuine love to flourish. This spiritual revolution operates simultaneously on multiple levels of reality. In the personal sphere, chosen ones are refusing to participate in dysfunctional family dynamics, ending generational patterns of abuse and manipulation. In professional environments, they're exposing corruption, challenging unethical practices, and creating workplaces based on integrity rather than exploitation. In social settings, they're disrupting groupthink, encouraging independent thought, and modeling authentic communication. The collective impact of these individual awakenings creates a ripple effect that touches lives far beyond your immediate circle. Someone who witnesses your courage to speak truth finds their own voice. A person who observes your refusal to accept mistreatment learns to value themselves. An individual who sees your recovery from toxic relationships gains hope for their own healing. Your transformation becomes a beacon that guides others out of their own darkness. The narcissists and energy vampires who once seemed so powerful begin appearing increasingly isolated and desperate as their traditional tactics fail against awakened targets. Their ability to maintain false personas crumbles under the scrutiny of people who can see through their masks. Their capacity to control others diminishes as their victims refuse to participate in dysfunctional dynamics. Their sources of narcissistic supply dry up as people learn to value themselves too highly to provide validation to those who don't reciprocate it. The old paradigm based on fear, control, and deception begins collapsing as more people awaken to their inherent worth and refuse to participate in systems that diminish their humanity. This collapse might appear chaotic from the outside, but chosen ones recognize it as the necessary clearing that precedes the emergence of healthier structures based on truth, respect, and genuine connection. The narcissist who first drew your attention to this pattern has no idea that their attempt to diminish you actually activated your full potential. Their desperate effort to make you question your worth forced you to discover your true value. Their attack on your credibility compelled you to claim your voice. Their attempt to isolate you led you to find your true tribe. In trying to destroy you, they accidentally participated in your becoming. This is the ultimate irony of targeting a chosen one. Every weapon formed against you becomes a tool for your evolution. Every lie told about you clarifies your truth. Every attempt to break you reveals your unbreakable core. Every effort to silence you amplifies your message. You truly are their worst nightmare because you transform their attacks into your advantages, their hatred into your healing, their curses into your blessings. Standing in your full power now, you understand that being a chosen one isn't about being perfect or superior to others. It's about being willing to see truth, speak truth, and live truth regardless of the cost. It's about serving as a lighthouse for those still lost in storms of deception. It's about holding space for authentic love and connection in a world that often settles for manipulation and control. The journey that began with confusion and pain has led to clarity and purpose. The toxic people who once seemed like your greatest curse have revealed themselves as unlikely allies in your spiritual development. The challenges that nearly broke you have become the foundation of your unshakable strength. You are exactly who you were meant to be, and the universe is celebrating your arrival at this moment of recognition. Your story is just beginning. The power you've discovered, the wisdom you've gained, the truth you've learned to speak, these are not endpoints but starting points for the next phase of your evolution. The world needs chosen ones who understand their value, embrace their gifts, and use their voice to create positive change. The time for hiding your light is over. The time for questioning your worth has passed. The time for your full emergence is now. And somewhere, right now, another narcissist is having a complete meltdown because they've encountered someone just like you. Someone whose very existence threatens everything they've built their false identity upon. The cycle continues, but now you understand your role in it. You are their worst nightmare, and that's exactly what this world needs you to be.